Good morning. Good morning to those of you online as well. I'm Kelly Moody, and I have been privileged to be your ministry intern these past 16 months on my path to ordination. And early on in my time here, I heard a buzz, an interest in an Episcopal program called Sacred Ground. There was an interest in exploring it together, and at this point, you've heard a lot about that. You've heard from almost all the members of our group about their experiences and their learnings and their deeper connections through participation in this program. The program is grounded in our baptismal covenant in the Episcopal Church, which invites us to promise to seek and serve Christ in all people, to strive for justice and peace among all people, to respect the dignity of every human being, and to love our neighbors as ourselves. And you've heard from each member of the group as a way of extending the invitation to you to consider whether you might want to join a sacred group in the fall, as Tina explained last week, and as you will hear from Joe in just a minute. He and I are here to talk about our hopes for sacred ground in this place. So, as you consider this opportunity to join a group, I'd like to invite you to ask yourself some questions. What might I need to discern whether this offering is for me? What about what folks have shared about this experience is attractive to me? What frightens me? What questions do I still have? Each of us came to the Sacred Ground group with our own assumptions and expectations, and each of us were challenged and surprised by the joy of walking together in this way. And for me personally, the challenges came in better understanding the values of my own family, and the joy came in letting go of my judgments and talking points in order to listen more deeply to those I disagree with and to act in love. Now, I'm still far from 100% acting in love, but I do believe I am better equipped to act in love after listening and learning in this group of people. And so my hope for all of you, as you consider joining a group, is that you also experience challenge and joy in the context of this wonderful faith community, and deepen your call to be the church and be the beloved community in the world. And now I'd like to invite Joe to share some hopes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Joe Hannon, and I'll be one of the facilitators for Sacred Ground coming this fall. There's a collect that makes reference as a metaphor to the Temple of Jerusalem. The prayer is that we be made a holy temple. I recently heard a sermon on this collect that relates to my experience with Sacred Ground. In the sermon, they said, to pull on the metaphor some more, you are God's temple, and the temple required constant attention to recreate order after the traffic and commerce of life. Is there something that needs to be cleared away and cleaned up in your life? You are a holy temple of God. Reverence the temple. Maintain the temple. If you need help with your maintenance, get help. You are worth it. Let me highlight some of that again. The temple required constant attention to recreate order after the traffic and commerce of life. Is there something that needs to be cleared away or cleaned up in your life? You are a temple. You are a holy temple of God. Sacred Ground challenged me to sort through a lifetime of perceptions, a lifetime of learnings, of assumptions about race and equity. Many of them were, and some remain, ill-informed. Sacred ground exposed me to parts of history I was only partially aware of, and sometimes completely unaware of. I experienced a lot of anguish, a lot of guilt, even anger towards myself as I sorted through a lifetime of learnings and experiences. Over the 10 sessions of Sacred Ground, I was able to sort through some of those learnings and experiences. I was able to update my knowledge. I was able to identify and discard things that were in error. I was able to clean up the clutter and make room in myself for new learnings, new understandings, a new way to discuss and relate to others on this very difficult subject matter. Going back to the quote from the sermon, reverence the temple, maintain the temple. If you need help with your maintenance, get help. You are worth it. Sacred Ground provided the help that I needed to maintain the temple. I did not know I needed the help. Let me be clear, like Kelly, I don't have it all figured out. I'm not sure I ever will. What has happened? I've made room to more fully understand and more fully connect with others on the matters of race and equity. Sacred Ground is an intense 10-session program. It requires real commitment of your time and of yourself. My hope for St. Michael's, my hope for you, is that you can maintain the temple, to make room for new understandings, make room for new conversations, make room to build new relationships, to show God's love more fully.